What's up, y'all? Welcome to episode. I don't even know where we are right now. Whatever episode this is, this whole thing's been a blur. But this one's gonna be wild. This one's gonna be wild, dog. Cause I'm getting sick of my own shit. I'm sick of just not being me, fully me. I say this to other people all the time in my teachings. But it's like the most exhausting thing we can do in the world is not be ourselves. And from that perspective, where am I still hiding? Where am I still afraid to speak my truth? Still afraid to be who I am? Still afraid to express in the way I want? Still afraid to honor whatever my most authentic beingness is in this life? And so I'm going to talk about some wild shit today that I have never talked about publicly. I've talked about it in one of my cohorts, and it just feels apt because the world's talking about this shit, and we're in a wild spot. So I'm going to match that energy. But first, this episode's brought to you by Entheosolistics. If you are struggling in any way of your life, I think microdosing is a great way to help. I believe that all sickness and suffering stems from spiritual disconnection, and microdosing is a spiritual practice of reconnecting to the mind, body, and soul. Mind is our awareness, body is our emotions, soul is the heart and the present moment. And through that reconnection, we find God. That's what entheos means. Entheos is the divine within. Through the reconnection itself, we find the connection to everything. And my men's community, the Colosseum. If you're a man out there, you don't have brothers, you're not building with people, you ain't got people you can call, you ain't got people you can open up with, sharing your experience of life with, I got a brotherhood for you. 102 men now. We've grown by 3 since the last time we talked. So good to be here. So good to see you keep growing. We got a men's retreat coming up in August for anyone interested. Oh, okay. We're going to get into it today. But before I do, I want to talk about something. That's what we're here for, right? We're here to talk about shit. Everything that we are meant to do, follow, and be in this life is already in the field. You are creating everything in your life, reflecting back who you are meant to be and the path you are meant to walk, always. And the whole game is how much can we become aware of it? How much can we notice what's already in our field? And so I was going back. I got a ping, talk about the pings, to read my journal. And back on 11/8/2025, I wrote, I want to start. I've been saying that I wanted to start this podcast for 4 months. I was lying to myself, and I didn't even know it. So I'm out myself. Since November, I've been saying 4 months. What is that, 8 months? I've been talking about this to myself. I want to start a podcast. Something like coffee and conversation. What do I do with y'all for the last 6 days? I think we're on episode 6, maybe 7. I don't know. I make my coffee in the morning, I sit down in the morning, and I hit record, and I have a conversation with y'all. I literally wrote that shit. Coffee and content. Or call it something like coffee and conversation. I sit down in the morning, have my conversation, and I just flow. What the F, y'all? I wrote that 8 months ago, and here I am doing it. We always, every single one of us have something inside of us that is begging to be done. Something that is leading us towards our most authentic expression, towards your purpose, towards your highest vision. Whatever your thing is. It's in you. It wants to be created and made if only we get out of our own fear complex and just do the thing. And even in this last 6 days through this process, I have so many of my stories coming online. What are people going to think? This ain't getting that many views. I'm not picking up followers. Blah, blah, blah. All this bullshit. All the stories. They're so exhausting. And this is what today's podcast is about. I'm done not being fully myself. And just like, let's take 30 seconds right now. Like, feel into this. 99.99% of people, even if it's only a 0.5% of you, still isn't fully authentic. I think that's the whole purpose of being human, is trying to get back to that authentic expression. It is the process. It is the path. All of us have some sort of part we are denying out of guilt and shame, whatever the narrative is that we're telling ourselves. We're afraid to be seen. We're not going to be liked. We're going to lose friends. My family won't talk to me. What would happen if I do this? All the stories we start telling ourselves that keep us out of being authentic. And I still notice parts of myself. One of the things that reflected back to me is your authenticity. Thank you for your authenticity, the way you're so vulnerable and open. And there's still parts I'm hiding. How wild is that? Let's be with that. Let's fuck with that. And that's what this is really about. That's what this I'm going to get into it. Just trust me. We're 5 minutes in. I'm going to talk about some crazy shit. But this is wild to me. Like the path is in front of us. This is the importance of journaling. It's a conversation with ourselves and God. And through this process, we get to, when we get in use of this channel and this flow of things coming through us, we get to meet ourselves and what we want to create. Coffee, content, and connection. I wrote it 3 times on 2 pages. And then I've been telling you about the other podcast I want to start. What does this say? Normalizing the supernatural. I've been thinking about that one for 4 years. My video's all shaky. Sorry about that. I'm telling y'all, man. If you want to be free in this life, find where you're hiding from yourself. Because you hear the thing, you hear the whisper. I want to do that, but I won't succeed. I want to create art, but how will I make money? I want to quit my job, but I don't know what's next. I hate this relationship, but if I leave, I'm going to be alone. I'm afraid of grief. I don't want to cry. I got to move out. What am I going to do for money? We just make excuses that keep us out of being ourselves. All of us do it. Every one of us do it. And that's beautiful. Because we're creating our own tests. We're creating our own obstacles. Which means what? Guess what that means on the other side? I'm also the one that gets to figure it out because I'm the only one creating the shit that's getting in the way in the first place. Path is laid, man. I'm trusting and believing that more and more. And I'm in this place in my life right now where shit's crunchy, man. You know, I spent so much of my life making money with ease. With ease. Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. I mean, I wouldn't say it was in ease. I didn't like my life, but the money came in as a reflection of the way that I suffered. Which is that's just a funny statement to speak out loud. But I've talked about this, and if you're new here, maybe you haven't heard it. Welcome to the one where I'm seemingly losing my mind by finding myself inside of my mind. That's the blessing. If you're new here, I made between $300,000 and $600,000 a year for nearly a decade, and I was fucking miserable, and that's a lot of money. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. I did anything I wanted. I owned $1 million brand new build condo 8 minutes from the beach in San Diego. I drove $80,000 custom BMW. I ate whatever I want. I bought whatever I want. I traveled whenever I want. That's a lot of money. But I was miserable. Drank a lot, drugs, pharmaceuticals, meaningless sex. Lacked real connection with the friends. I loved my friends. Bless them. They're such a big part of my life. And I was just drunk with them all the time. So where's the intimacy? Where's the depth? And then I get in this place where it's like I know I'm living in service. I spend most of my time figuring out how I can be of service to the world. And it feels so good. It feels of my heart. And that's what matters the most to me. And money's been crunchy inside of that, y'all. And I'm in a period right now where I'm serving the most I ever have. I'm doing the best work I've ever done in this life. I have the biggest cohort I've ever had, 86 people going through this microdosing cohort. My one-on-one clients, communities are thriving, and yet money just ain't there. And there's something so beautiful about that. I love it because I'm always taken care of. I've never not been able to pay my bills. I've never not had food on my table. I know God's got my back. And so I'm at the point in my life, too, where I don't even give a shit what the dollar figure in my account says. I know I'm going to be taken care of. I'm protected. I am guided. I am held. I am loved. Ain't nothing stopping that from happening for me. I believe that. I got too many people in my life that I can call and would have my back. I know that. And it's such a beautiful reflection because I believe everything in life is symbolism. Everything in life is symbolism. And so I feel this contraction as I'm going through this mass expansion, and the beauty of that is it's like through the contraction, the reason, let me back up a little bit. I think Most of us give up when it gets hard, but the entire purpose is to be in the difficulty, because the difficulty is required of us to meet the parts of us that are the only thing holding us back from the expansion. And so for me to expand into greater capacity, I've talked about this, like the reason I'm doing this 40-day devotional, cutting so much out of my life and doing 40 straight podcasts, realizing what am I doing inside of that and having so much fun doing it. The reason for that is to meet the parts of myself I haven't met that are preventing me from that next expansion. And so inside of that, my anxiety is coming back. My worthiness, every time I've been posting on social media or a YouTube video, I'm like, man, is anyone going to watch it? Was that good enough? And I'm just noticing, it's like, oh, these parts have to be seen and express themselves for me to overcome that next hurdle into that bigger expansion. And so anytime you're in difficulty, anytime you're struggling with your emotions in your relationship, that is pointing you to the point that if you're willing to navigate and walk through it, there is something beautiful and profound waiting for you on the other side. Promise. I've been through this so many times that even in it now, I'm just laughing at it. Oh, I feel like shit this morning. I didn't sleep well. I have anxiety. My worthiness wounds were alive. I don't feel like I want to do a podcast right now. I don't want to post on social media. I'm not getting enough likes. It's not going viral. I thought that message was a banger. I don't feel good in my body. That workout sucked. Blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, awesome. Yeah, this is exactly where I want to be, because I'm meeting myself at a new level. But if we avoid that, then we're actually not having gratitude and grace for all things in life, which means we're going to continue to repeat and learn that lesson until we meet it with gratitude and grace. Thank you for being here. It's good to be with y'all. This podcast is about authenticity. I'm letting it rip. This is what's alive. This is the expression in me. And if the message doesn't land for you, you're not meant to be here. And as I've been showing up more on social media, I'll have these days where I pop on and I'll notice my followers go down. I lost 5 followers today. I'm like, oh man, what did it? I'm so sick of my own shit inside of that. If you aren't here and you're not listening to this point, you're not meant to receive the message I have to deliver. Bless. And now every time someone leaves my field, every time I lose a friend, a relationship, a friendship, a follower, I actually drop into a moment of gratitude and prayer. And I thank the field for reflecting and refining the frequency of what I'm magnetizing. People that leave my field aren't meant to be there because they're not vibrating at the frequency I desire to be at in this life. Bless. Goodbye. I love you. And it's refinement. But the stories I was telling myself were making it out to be something bad. It's all fucking stories. Okay, let's get into really why I want to do this podcast, because we're at 13 minutes in now, and this is a little, I'll just talk about it. Also going through my journal. On December 5th of this last year, I sat with some medicine here at my house. I sit occasionally. Many of you know that psychedelics are my path, and they've been beautiful for healing, creativity, expansion, openness, opening my heart, deepening my connection with God, all of these things. And so if you have judgments against those, I'm surprised you're still here. If you're curious about those, that's why you're still here. And I sat with MDMA at my house. It's such a beautifully heart-opening medicine. I used it as a drug for many lives. I probably took MDMA a couple hundred times in my party days back in Arizona. Drinking my ass off, not using it with intention. And when I use it with intention, it's one of the most beautiful creative medicines. It helps me feel, reconnect to my heart, the present moment, to slow down, to clear the fog and the distortion. And during this experience, this feels so wild. So I'll just say it as it is. I was, I guess you could say, contacted by extraterrestrials. And we see so much of this happening right now. The disclosure, which I will get into that actually. I was contacted by these praying mantis beings. They appeared and they called themselves the Manted Council, and there was 4 of them. And when they first appeared, it was as if I was having a conversation with somebody in my bedroom with me. It was one of the top 3 wildest experiences of my life. And if you know me, you know I've had a lot of wild experiences. Top 3 wildest experiences of my life. And I was instructed very clearly to go to my altar which is also in my bedroom, and get into meditation. And so I did. I got out of my bed. I went and sat at my altar. And here's the thing about MDMA, because I'm sure some people are thinking, oh, you're hallucinating, blah, blah, blah. MDMA is non-psychedelic. It's zero hallucinatory, zero altered state of consciousness in the state that I'm not present with my beingness. It is not like mushrooms or ayahuasca or DMT or bufo. None of that. So we can cut that right now. It was an hallucination. And I know that because that contact has not stopped since that day. I could drop in and communicate with them right now if I pleased and desired to do so. And so I go and sit at my meditation cushion and I drop into meditation, and it opened up this. The only way I can describe this is a field. Yeah, a field inside of my mind's eye, inside of my consciousness, where I basically sat there and had a Q&A session for 90 minutes. An undeniable, one of the most clear conversations. Again, it felt like I was having a conversation with somebody sitting directly across from me, in the room with me, except it was these 4 praying mantis beings. Wild. And I never thought I would be the kind of guy to come out and say this. Even now, I'm like, man, what's my family going to think when they watch this? What are my friends from high school going to think? It's like, I'd love to know. Tell me what you think. Because there's a part of me, it's like I'm watching the same movie you are. As I'm speaking this and telling you this story of what happened to me, I'm also watching this like, I get it. This is a fucking crazy movie. I'm witnessing the movie of Austin West play out. And this is what I mean by authenticity. When we deny what we're actually seeing in this life, we're denying the truth of our own expression and what our reality is mirroring to us. And then we wonder why the Matrix is what it is, why everything is corrupted, and why so many people are suffering, and why there's such divisiveness and separation and propaganda, and why politics is fucked, and why corporations can rape and pillage the entire world and no one says anything because we're all denying our truth. Whoo! So where are you denying your own truth? My own truth. I've been wanting to speak out about this for months and months. I'm like, nah, that ain't the thing. And this is the part of me I'm tired with. I'm done hiding, man. I'm done. So I got contacted by these praying mantis beings in December. And it was like right on par. I think disclosure started earlier this year, where the government is openly acknowledging we are not alone. There are aliens. We are being visited. And so there's also a part of me where it's like people are going to receive this and be like, yeah, okay. You know, government's saying that now, so it must be true, which is also wild. Like, we need the government to confirm what our experience is in this life. Again, we wonder why things are fucked. They're not fucked. I'm not going to cast that spell. Things are beautiful. Things are improving to bring humanity deeper into alignment of what it means to live in love and sovereignty and connection and belonging and community, by all of us tuning into our own individual sovereignty of what it means to be the highest expression of myself in this life, which is authenticity. That's the prayer I want to cast. That's the spell I want to cast. And so since these beings came through, you know, and if there's curiosity around this, I'll be happy to go into the conversation I had, into the Q&A I had, into what they reflected, into how I work with them now, into what they've done to my life, how they've opened me up, how they quite literally have helped me increase the frequency in which I carry inside of this life, how much more trust I have, how benevolent these beings are. They're so benevolent. They're so loving. I feel so protected with them in my field. And I never, ever thought I would be sitting here telling you that I've been visited and continue to communicate with praying mantis beings. Never in my life did I imagine me, Austin West, would be telling the world, or whoever chooses to listen to this, about these praying mantis beings. And here we are. And that is my truth. And it feels really good to not give a shit anymore. Because for so long, I've given a shit about what people think, about the likes and the comments and the spreads and the things and the da, the ba. All of us do at some level, because there's this deeply rooted thing about tribalism that if I truly show myself, if I allow myself to be seen in front of my friends and my community in relationship, how many of us are hiding inside a relationship and then wonder why they don't work? It's because you're not being you. Maybe. I don't know. I don't have the answers. Just exploring my own life, letting you in on. Yeah, I don't really know where to go with the Mantis thing, except for just telling y'all. And if there's curiosity and interest, I'll keep talking about it. Nothing is off limits anymore. I'm here for all of it. And part of this is my hope and prayer is the more open and raw and vulnerable and authentic I am, that I give you permission to be that too, to use your voice and speak your truth and own who you are. You are a gift to this life. I love you. God loves you. The world loves you, even if they don't always reflect that. And remember, anything that somebody puts on you is their own version of self being projected onto you. This whole life is just about the self. This whole journey is about me to me. And the second I make it about anything or anyone outside of me, I've become victim to that. And that perpetuates the whole slave matrix that we create within ourselves. Because only I can make myself trapped. I believe aliens are real. I don't believe they are what the government says. I don't believe that they are malevolent. I believe they are benevolent and loving. I think they are the most benevolent, loving things. They are us. No different than you are me living this life through a different lens that we call the human experience. They are me living this life through a different lens that they call the alien, or we call the alien experience. I believe that over the next 3 years, we are going to be made known to these beings, and these beings made known to us. I have a profound belief about that this conversation I'm having now is going to be so normalized inside of the next few years. I believe that. I know that. And what do I know? I'm just predicting a future that doesn't exist because the present moment's the only thing that actually is here. And in this present moment, I feel free. I feel good. I feel sovereign. I feel authentic. I feel in service. I feel love. I feel expansion. I feel abundant. And I pray that for everybody who listens to this. May you be full of all of the same. May you be full of joy and pleasure and bliss and ecstasy and abundance and prosperity and sovereignty and freedom and healing and groundedness and presence and community and belonging and trust and surrender. And may you feel so connected to your own version of what God is to you. Whatever word aligns, whatever higher power, higher frequency, higher vision you hold for yourself, may that be the most true thing in your life. Aho. And for now, I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for being here, y'all. I appreciate y'all so much. We'll see what this episode does to my life, to the interwebs, and to this community. I know many of the people who are listening at this point, they've heard me talk about this. I imagine most of my viewers so far are people of my cohort, my communities, which I've openly talked about this. And I've had certain things reflected back by the people that make me know it's true as well. And if you're new here, welcome. Welcome to Contemplations with Austin. Yeah, I forgot to drop the name and the title of this thing at the beginning. So this is a podcast called Contemplations with Austin. Thank you for being here. And I'll see you next episode. Bye, y'all.